Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where last episode we ran out of money and we have paused our construction for a little bit. But I do want to get going on some additional law changes. Specifically, we got workers' protections, that's all well and good. We could get social security, or we could just go for the universal suffrage at this point. Wow. 37% success and 49% advance. We're doing it. The landowners are going to be really sad, but they're only 4.4%. Let's go ahead and run this. The absolutist movement is going to be really, really upset, but we've got good odds on that. So let's go ahead and run that. That should be reasonably good for now. Once we get that, then we're going to be in a much, much better position. So that's all great. Now, our research is progressing. We really need to get this literacy up. We're working on it. In order to really change that, what we need is we need to get off of private schools. That would be a very big help to us. Really? We just successfully completed Stamp Out Monarchism? Fascinating. The landowners are no longer going to have those ideologies. Interesting. They're still very upset, to be clear. But I think it's fine. Yeah, the actual movement is not a problem, so we're okay. We just need to let the landowners chill a bit. But that's fine. Absolutely A-okay. Now, I do want to get back to construction fairly soon, and we need to decide when we want to do that. The answer is now. I want to see how this is going to go. We're going to run a deficit, but by how much? 83? That's a pretty big deficit. That's roughly a 2-to-1 paused ratio. Okay, now it's like a 3-to-1 paused ratio. That's not ideal. I would prefer to not be at a 3-to-1 paused ratio. We clearly overbuilt our construction a little bit, but it's fine. We'll get there. So one thing I want to think about doing is potentially taking over, like, Alexandria. Now, I believe Cairo became a protectorate of Ukraine, so we can't really do anything about that. Al Said has a treaty with us that's no longer binding, but we could go after Alexandria, theoretically. If we were to do this, hypothetically, we don't have diplomatic demands available. Do we not have an interest there? Let's see here. Where are we? We need to go into diplomatic lens, declare interests. Yeah, we have an interest up here. Okay. Well, that's fine. I want to start using some of this military that we've got here, right? That would be nice. Workplace Safety Office just moved up, which is very good for us because that's going to substantially boost our population growth, which is already pretty good. Our population growth is already 1.45% annually. That's very, very healthy. But I want that to be more. We're going to make that be so much more. So we're going to run out of gold reserves relatively soon here. Our private constructions aren't doing very much for privatization at this time. So that's not necessarily ideal. Plus 20 legitimacy. Ooh, we'll take that. That seems good. So universal suffrage is potentially going to be passing here shortly. And that's going to be great. We could also go for women's suffrage. The question is, do we want to give up the birth ratio that we've got? Because with us on legal guardianship, that's 5% birth rate. Propertied women is 5% workforce ratio, which, I mean, it's nice if you have a problem with not having enough people to work. That's not our issue right now. Women in the workplace gives a 10% workforce ratio, and that's a net drop of a 10% birth rate. Women's suffrage is the same. But, I mean, the thing about that is, a 10% birth rate drop is significant. We'll see if... Wow, we rolled a stall right off the bat here. That was only a 10% chance. That's very unfortunate. I'm going to take the bureaucracy hit. We've got a lot of bureaucracy right now. It should be reasonably okay. We're going to need some bureaucracy as we work up our workplace safety office, but we've got a pretty decent nest egg of it for right now, and I think that's fine. So we've got spread thin here. The petite bourgeoisie are offering to leave one of these. Yeah, go ahead and leave the Anti-Pan-European Association. That's fine. So that'll be okay. I notice we have a bit of a shortage of ironclads, which is intriguing. I wouldn't mind moving one of our shipyards over to... Or no, this needs to be military shipyards. One of our military shipyards can move over to steel hulls, which will get some ironclad production. Okay, so that'll get that solved. No problem. We're going to be going into debt here. In fact, we are going into debt right now. I'm going to allow us to go slightly into debt here until our munitions plants are finished. That will get us some amount of paper mill production as well, and I'd really like to get at least the explosives factories done here. That would be very good for us. And we probably want to start thinking about getting some additional engine and grocery production here fairly soon. How are we doing on power? Electricity shortage in Dongola and a transportation shortage in Kordofan means that we absolutely want to get that going. So I'm going to sort by earnings here. And we are going to build power plants anywhere where we are positive on them, which is not going to be a lot in comparison to what we were previously looking at. It's that. Now I want to do the same thing with railways. So we'll sort by earnings. Kordofan is where we currently have a shortage. Well, there's no one working in Kordofan right now. We can definitely work on some railways in a lot of locations, but I'm noticing a lack of people working in these railways in a lot of these locations, right? But let's queue up some of these and see what that's going to look like in terms of numbers. This seems like it's a pretty high number of railways. I don't want to build these in Iran. Stop this. Okay. So in Equatoria here, that seems fine. Sort by earnings. There we go. And then Eritrea at this point. I don't want to build in Iran. For the moment, we can just do stuff over here. So this is all stuff that will have to be built eventually, and we'll see how much of this is actually valuable. I'm not convinced it is, and I'm putting this at the top of the queue for some reason. I don't have a reason for why it's going at the top of the queue. It really should be going at the bottom of the queue. This is kind of low priority stuff, with the exception... There we go. With the exception of that one in Kordofan. That one's high priority because we know we have a shortage right now. This is in our vassal state. We don't want to build there. Okay, so for now, we're just building domestically, and this is very, very close at this point to theoretically capping all of that out. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to move all of these down except for one in Kordofan. So I'm watching for that. Here it is, right there. So let's do that, skip that one, and then move down. And all of these are low priority constructions. We're not going to build those particularly soon. Similarly, we've got all of the power plants here. And we know that there's the power plant in Dongola that we want to get done. But the rest of these, I'm going to move down. And we'll just do something like that. We'll resume construction for the moment, but it's not going to be going for very long here. We'll get those explosives factories done. Investment banks have been unlocked for us. Okay, cool. I don't really care. We can establish a new company, though. And what's our highest projected productivity here? I mean, that's right up here at the top. It's the munition combine of Hejaz. Sure, go for it. Okay, so that seems fine. Whatever. At this point, our explosives factories are now done with this round of construction anyway. And we're going to complete these munitions plants, and then we'll just not go too much further into debt for the moment. So that seems absolutely fine. Yeah, we're not paying much interest right now, so this is okay. So we'll get these munitions plants done, and then we'll pause construction for a little while. There we go. So that seems good, and we'll use that time to pay off this little bit of debt. That's going to be like 12 weeks, something like that. Not very long. And then we'll hopefully build up a little bit of additional cushion there. That'll be nice. I would love to see some privatization happening. That hasn't been happening very much, so that's absolutely noted. Well, let's see what happens with universal suffrage. Do we roll badly again? We've got really good odds here. We just straight up turn it on. The landowners are going to be sad, but I'm going to do it. Look at that. Landowners are actually way less sad, and that's because their ideology changed. So that's fantastic. We have a new president, but we haven't had an election yet. So if we hop in here, we can see our overall legitimacy is quite low, and we need to hold an election. That's going to be in a few months here. 26th August is when that's going to happen. We just have an interim president for now. So that looks good, and I want to get another law change going, but the question is, do we have anything that we want to change now, or do we have to wait until after the election? That's something that we can definitely inquire about. Multiculturalism is probably not a bad thing for us. We do have a lot of cultures right now in our territory. There's not a lot of people super happy with this. The rural folk would go a little negative. The intelligentsia would still be positive, as would the petite bourgeoisie. We'd have some protests from the minority rights movement, which is kind of odd because we're trying to give them more rights, but okay. We'd have some protests from them, but honestly, this seems okay. The odds are not necessarily the best in the world. Yeah, 25% stall chance. We'll see what happens after the election, but I just want to roll through that for now, and we'll see. So what is this? Rabbinical Council, or more momentum to the Radical Party. Now, the Radical Party is just the industrialists. The Liberal Party is the trade unions, and the Conservative Party is the Rabbinical Council. We've already largely got what we want out of the trade unions. So if we look at our laws here, I mean, I'd like to do some child labor stuff. I'd like to do some school stuff. That would all be fine. But if we boost the Radical Party, it's likely going to come out of the Rabbinical Council. Because this is all about the Rabbinical Council, right? So let's do that. If we can weaken the Conservative Party a little bit and get the Liberal Party in, that'll allow us those couple of law changes that we want. And then after that, it doesn't matter if the Conservative Party is in power. So we'll just kind of not care from there. We pass cultural exclusion. We go into compulsory primary school to boost our education. And then we go into public schools to, again, boost our education. And then we're just in a really good spot. From there, it doesn't really matter all that much. We can start throwing money at Social Security if we wanted to, but I don't really see a reason to right now. So this seems fine. More momentum for the Conservative Party. I mean, they're likely going to win no matter what. Yeah, that's an outright majority. If it was a plurality victory, we could maybe have the trade unions and the industrialists have a, like, really awkward alliance, considering they're, you know, kind of opposites of each other. But with the Conservative Party winning an outright majority, that's going to potentially be a little awkward. A couple of new production methods are available at this point, and that is going to drive more demand for power, so that's noted. Automatic power looms sounds good, and electric sewing machines sounds good. We're going to do that. And explosives factories to brine electrolysis. Now, that's going to be painful in some particular areas like Hejaz. We're absolutely going to need to build more power production in Hejaz, I believe. So let's check in here. Oh yeah, we got an electricity shortage in Baghdad, Cyprus, Deir ez-Zor, Sicily. Let's check to see if we have any of those in our list of power plants down here. So we've got Eritrea, Lebanon, Palestine, and that's it. So that's definitely, we need more going in here. So this is in Cyprus. Sounds good. I'm putting this right up at the top of the queue. In fact, we should build all of these. Hejaz we're going to need a lot in, most likely. Deir ez-Zor we're going to put a lot in as well. Yeah, this is definitely going to be spicy. We kind of knew that was coming, though. We would really like to further upgrade our power plants, but it's going to be something like that. Okay, so that was a lot. No doubt about that. And let's just... I mean, we really need all of those, though. We really, really do. I'm going to move up this railway, this power plant, and these 3 paper mills that we've already put some work into. And then we're just going to do something like this, and I'm going to restart construction. We've got a little bit of a nest egg built up. That seems fine. So what is this false democracy? Momentum to the Liberal Party sounds good. There are law changes that I would like to get going there, but I mean, I don't think that's going to change anything. Electric railways is spreading, which is good, but we do very much need to get some of these power plants built. So let's get that going, and we'll see what happens with multiculturalism. I doubt that we're going to see too much happening there, to be honest. I think the odds of this are kind of low. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not too concerned about it. We do need to get these power plants completed and this railway done, these couple of paper mills here, and then we'll just start really hammering through these power plants. That's the idea here for now. We need to get some power rolling. So we'll absolutely do that. Yeah, I'm expecting there to be a considerable electricity shortage in a lot of these regions for a while. So that's okay. We'll get the railway in Kordofan done in 11 weeks, and by the time that's done, nearly all of these paper mills will be completed as well, so that seems fantastic. Momentum to the Liberal Party again. Wow. Okay. Actually, that's getting close. We got a success roll on multiculturalism, so that seems good. More momentum to the Radical Party, and I'd like to pull those votes out of the Conservative Party, and that actually worked. The Liberal Party is now winning this. Remarkable. They're winning a majority victory at this point, no less. Just barely. But that's a majority victory. Okay, now it's a plurality victory. But that's okay. It doesn't matter either way. That's absolutely a-okay for us. We just want the legitimacy more than anything else. So that'll be absolutely great. That'll help us really start dealing with our radicalism issue that we've been kind of neglecting the entire game, and that would be fantastic. So we're going to be going into debt here, and I'm going to allow that debt to happen for right now. Empty pockets, huh? Pops would become more loyalist in Palestine. Done. We'll get some more loyalists. Sounds great. So this election is happening now. Cool. So this guy is our new president, and his interest group is trade unions. So we need to do our government reform here. We've got the industrialists in power right now, and we could either have a coalition government between the Rabbinical Council and the trade unions, or we could just have the trade unions, and both would be at 100 legitimacy. We're just going to put in the trade unions for now. The Rabbinical Council can join the government later, but as of right now, that actually made multiculturalism a lot more likely to pass. So that's fantastic. Okay, so that's all looking good at this moment. We've got a few gold reserves, and we'd very much like to continue to expand our economy here, which will happen soon enough. Now, we're very, very close to getting pneumatic tools. That's also going to be helpful. Workplace Safety Office, finishing up, looks good. And our population growth is still happening. Hand-cranked machine gun. Okay, sure. That's absolutely fine. So for the time being, these power plants are... Oh, this progressed up to study. That's cool. These power plants are working along, and we need to get these pneumatic tools done. So that's going to... Oh, that's not actually a production method. That just boosts our construction sector output. Okay, that's actually going to make our deficit worse. It's fine. I thought that was a different thing than it was, but when I selected it, I knew that. But in this moment, I didn't. So we could go for houseware plastics for our glassworks, but... I mean, we do have a source of oil, and a solid one, too. We might want to do that. I usually skip it because oil is a problem, but we have a good amount of oil, so maybe that's not an issue for us. Okay, let's finish up these power plants. I've seen, I think, some privatization has been happening. There's infrastructure issues, is that true? In Armenia, but that's not our territory. So that's not really a problem. Okay. I really want to get through these power plants, and I want to do it fast. Unfortunately, that's not going to be fast. There's a lot of power plants that need to happen. We're almost building one full page. That's neat. But we're running a huge deficit in order to do it. And we can only afford to do this for a couple more weeks. So we should probably chill on this construction quite soon. We're also seeing the price of engines creeping upward, which we're not very surprised about. But we gotta handle these shortages of electricity. Wow, we just went up to voting on multiculturalism. That's remarkable. Okay, I mean, we'll take that. So yeah, we just gotta get through these power plants. There's no way around it. We are building a full page simultaneously, so that means we're not that far away from getting them done. We have 6 years in our construction queue at this time, and I would like to get that fully completed, but we're a long ways away from it. There's not a lot of private constructions ongoing right now, although there is the occasional privatization happening, which is helping us keep our debt under control. I kind of want to keep building until we get these power plants completed, because we really need to do something about that. There's a transportation shortage in Outer Houseland, and I want to look to see, do we have anything queued up for that? There's East Houseland. Outer Houseland. Let's move that up. Okay. Otherwise, we'll just keep working away on these power plants. So that looks good. We'll just try to stay on top of these transportation shortages. And there's an electricity shortage in Lazio. I am wondering if we have any queued up in Lazio at this time. We may not. We don't. So we should go in to our power plants then and sort by earnings. Okay, I see one in Syria, or a couple in Syria and Tuscany, about like that. But Lazio, we're having issues here. There are 2 levels of power plant here. The real issue is we don't have people here. Oh, we had a debate failure there? That's unfortunate. So we're hiring in here in Lazio, and that seems fine. We should be able to get this under control. Yeah. So that seems absolutely fine for the moment, and we'll just continue to work away on this construction queue. We do have these extra 3 power plants. They're going to be done fairly soon. I want to build at the very least until we're done building this railway in Outer Houseland. I'm no longer seeing a transportation shortage in Outer Houseland, but that's okay. I do want to get this finished, and we'll get all of these power plants completed very, very shortly here. We are building reasonably quickly, so we can see we're down to just like 3 1/4 pages at this point of power plants there. And then there are these power plants that are down at the bottom, and I'm going to want to move those up eventually, but probably not quite yet. So I'm fine with running a debt at this point. Oh, wow, another debate failure. That's unfortunate luck. We're going to have to take a setback here, but that's okay. Again, it's not a huge deal if this passes. So that brings us up to 8% success chance. It's not great, but maybe we get some decent debates out of it. Or maybe we just roll an 8% chance. You never can tell. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, these power plants are progressing nicely. I see a privatization of a railway going in, and that will help us keep that credit issue under control. I want to get through these power plants. I really, really do. We've got a lot of things in here that we want to do. So from farms to factories has been successfully completed. Loyalists from political movements, done. Sounds great. But yeah, I want to get these power plants moved up eventually. The question is when. Still another 8 weeks on that railway in Outer Houseland. I'm going to go ahead and move these up now, though. And make sure that that railway in Outer Houseland is being worked on. Wow, another just straight up debate failure. We are very bad at debating multiculturalism. Okay. It's not the biggest of deals if this fails. We will see. Maybe we roll better later, but maybe not. If not, we're definitely going to want to swap over to, like, compulsory primary school. That's going to be a very big deal. So that's actually a bigger deal, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's another setback there. We'll see. This is not going well now. We got a couple of good rolls and then, like, a trillion bad rolls in a row. It's fine. We'll get there. So our railway in Outer Houseland is 2 weeks away from finishing at this point. Once that's done, I am planning on pausing construction and just not paying this interest. That would be the best way to go. It's going up by about 60 per week, our interest is, and that's money that we could spend elsewhere. So that is indeed the plan. At this point, let's go ahead and pause our government construction. And now we roll a debate success. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully that will be changed, but it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to pay off this debt and continue work on building a few power plants here. We're making our way through this list. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.